Hello, Power English class. We're back again with another lesson in conversation starters. My favorite thing to do because I am the queen of conversation starters. Yesterday, a friend asked me to help her at up in Ojai. I don't know if you know, Ojai is just north of Ventura and just south of Santa Barbara. Beautiful place.
In California.
In California. And there was a peddler's fair. And what that meant is that my friend has a new business and she is selling clothing that's imported from Nepal. Each piece of clothing is hand painted and handmade, and by selling this clothing she's helping the people who have their own small businesses back in Nepal, as well as herself, because this is how she's earning her living.
Yeah, and I've seen that collection. Isn't that beautiful?
Isn't it amazing? So she asked me to help her yesterday because she knows I'm the queen of conversation starters and sales were a little slow, so she asked me if I would come along with her. So each time, there weren't a lot of people up there in Ojai yesterday. It was 100 degrees in the shade, and we were outside in the shade. It was very hot. And so whenever somebody would start to walk past our table, walk past our booth, I had to think of some way that I could start a conversation with them. So, for example, there was one woman that we saw her off in the distance, and my friend remarked, "Oh, she looks like Celeste." Celeste is a mutual friend of ours. So and I agreed with her. So as the woman started to move closer to me, I pretended that I had the same relationship with this woman as we have with Celeste, because she was so familiar to me. It made me feel like I could talk to this woman about anything. And so when she came up to the table, I said to her, "Do you know, it's really amazing. I know that we haven't met before, but you remind us so much of a mutual friend." And she said, "Really?" And she was curious. You see, curiosity. Curiosity is the cure for boredom. There is no cure for curiosity. So she said she wanted to know about our friend Celeste. And so we said that Celeste is someone who works with patients who have had brain injuries. And this woman said, "Oh, how interesting. I work with people, I work with senior citizens, I work with the elderly, and I'm a caretaker." So right away we found that commonality. Celeste was a caretaker, and so was this woman. So we asked her to come in and take a look at our merchandise, and we explained how all of this was handcrafted. And oh, I forgot, let's rewind that for a moment, class. The woman was wearing a handbag across her body that was handmade. I noticed that it was handmade. And I said to her, "Oh, I see that you are a person who appreciates when things are handmade by artisans." And she said, "Oh, yes." And I said, "That's great, because that's exactly why you're going to be wanting to look at our clothing, because each one of these items was handmade by someone in Nepal." Do you think she was interested, class? So we had already said that she reminded us of someone we knew, so we were creating that sense of familiarity, that sense of friendship. We commented on something she was wearing that had something in common with the clothing that we had, and by the time she left, she had bought 2 items from us, even though she told us she didn't have a lot of money. But she so respected the value of what we could offer her that she decided that whatever it was, however small, she wanted to take home something that we had, some essence of us with her. And in addition to talking about clothing, we also gave her advice. We found out that she had been to the health food store where we had just come from. We found out that she liked to have her own water, that she did not have a filtration system in her home, and so she had to bottle her water. She told us how it was very difficult to find glass bottles. Guess what? My friend had a source for glass bottles. So I don't know if you've ever heard that expression. It's very American, but there's a very famous actor. His name is Kevin Bacon. And Kevin Bacon, somebody came up with the idea of 6 degrees of separation. And that means, class, that if you speak to anyone long enough looking for what you have in common, you will find it. Usually within 6 times of starting that conversation, within six sentences, you will find what you have in common. Now, you remember from a previous segment, I was at a nightclub in Los Angeles, and a random man came up to me, and we found after talking that he and I knew the same chiropractor in San Diego. That's 6 degrees of separation. With this totally unknown person on the street, because we noticed something about her that reminded her of a friend of ours, we found out that they were in a similar profession. They were in a helping profession. We found out that she would have appreciation for the clothing that we had because she liked items that were handmade. And we found out all of these things about her in a very short time. You can do it too. I can do it, you can do it. So what I want to leave you with is one important thought. Most of you, I'm sure all of you, have heard of Mahatma Gandhi. Mahatma Gandhi was a great leader from India, but he doesn't belong to India. He belongs to the world because he was so influential that even it affects me sitting here in Los Angeles, California, maybe 30 years since he's been gone, 40 years later. I still feel very influenced by the fact that this man wanted to bring world peace, and he was doing it in a non-violent way. That's very important to me, and I'm sure it's very important to you. So Mahatma Gandhi is very well known for this one expression. Okay, now here's what it is. He said, be the change that you want to see or that you wish to see in the world. I'll say it again because it's important. You be the change that you wish to see. You be the leader. You walk the walk. You be the one to show how you want people to respond to you. So, how does that relate to my wand? Well, my motto for my business, my slogan, is be the change you wand to see in the world.
That's a great play on words.
Isn't it? So I've thought about this in advance because when I'm looking for those 6 degrees of separation, I've already been thinking ahead. How can I insert my message? My message on a personal level, class, is to inspire change. And I believe that I am inspiring you. So remember now, be the change that you want to see in the world.
And Sherry, what is the name of your website for the
My
new
website,
business?
freefrompain.biz. F-R-E-E, free from pain, F-R-O-M, pain, P-A-I-N, .biz.
Excellent. Thank you, Sherry.